Rev up your engines!
Here we go. Here's an odd bit that I couldn't stop laughing. It turns out that Ferrari is suing a charity to get the rights to the name for its SUV. Yes, Ferrari is now making an SUV. Everyone's officially jumped onto the bandwagon now. I don't think there's any left. They're going to call the Ferrari SUV a Puro Sangue. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but it means pure blood. And it turns out that there is an Italian charity that's been using that name since 2016, and they're trying to sue them for the rights to use that name. Well, now, maybe the Italians didn't get the notice that everybody else knows, but the idea of calling something pure blood. Now, you go back to Adolf and his boys and their pure blood stuff, the imagery they had. Not such a smart idea considering that the Italians and the Nazis had pretty close relationship going on there. So, I mean, calling it pure blood as the name, maybe not such a smart choice, but I mean, let's face it, how many Ferraris do they sell? They don't care if they're politically correct. They only sell a handful of the things anyways. But to add insult to injury, they're suing an Italian charity that has already used the same name because they want to use that name. So I guess the fight over the name Pure Blood for a Ferrari SUV is now rolling down the line to see if they can actually use that name. I just can't stop laughing though. Pure blood. I mean, with the history of Italy and the Axis in World War II, you'd think they kind of think, maybe hire an anthropologist to explain things to them. I don't know. I just find the whole thing hilarious. And to top it off, that they're suing a charity to use the name. 16 says, Scotty, I'm thinking about a Toyota 4Runner, new or used over a Honda CR-V or RAV4 for long-term investment. I'm impressed by them. What do you think? All right, yeah, they're excellent vehicles, but so are CR-Vs and RAV4s. They're both excellent vehicles. They're different. What do you want? Do you want something big? If you want big, the RAV4 and the Honda CR-V are somewhat smaller, and the Toyota 4Runner is a lot bigger. If you're going to carry a lot of stuff, say you're going to pull stuff, tow stuff, yeah, you want the 4Runner. Just understand, 4Runners are pretty much gas hogs. They're big, heavy vehicles. They don't get very good gas mileage. CR-Vs and the RAV4, especially the newer ones, get much better gas mileage. And let's face it, we're living in a bubble economy now. The price of gas is not going to stay low forever. At some point in the future, the price of gas is going to start up. And if you get a vehicle that gets worse gas mileage and gas is $4 or $5 a gallon, you're not going to be happy with it. So that you got to decide yourself. But mainly think about size versus gas mileage. What size do you want, and what gas mileage will you accept? 937 Fordman says, what's up, Scotty? I'm David. I live in Union, Ohio, and I work for AAA. I got a 2010 Ford Escape XLT 3-liter engine. Sounds like the transmission's gone out. I press the gas, it goes to 3,500. I let off, it drops to 1,500. A buddy scanned it and said, hey, it could be my timing belt. Changing that's going to cost money. One guy wants $1,100 and some gaskets. Is it the timing change or the transmission? It could be both. I mean, I don't see the car in person here, but since you say it's revving up to 3,500, you take your foot off the gas and it goes down to 1,500. That particular part is the transmission. That's the only thing I've ever seen make a vehicle do that. When the transmission's going out, if it's revved up way too high and all you do is take your foot off the gas and it shifts down, the transmission has a problem. Now, I have customers that have driven cars years that way, and when they want it to shift, it's like an old standard. They have their foot on the gas and they want it to shift, they take their foot off the gas, it shifts down, then they gradually push the gas down. But that's almost always a sign that transmission's going out, and you got what? It's a 10-year-old Escape. You didn't say how many miles you have on it. It might be time to just get rid of it and get something else. You don't want to put a whole bunch of money in, because if the guy is going to do the timing belt and stuff for $1,100, but the transmission's also going out, you got another 2-3 at least of that. It's not worth doing if it's a high mileage vehicle. Geo92 says, Scotty, why are many hybrid electric cars rated to have better mileage in the city than the highway when you slow down and brake, instead of just the brake pads squeezing the rotors and making all your kinetic energy of your car that's rolling down the road turn into pure heat? It turns them into electricity, recharges the battery. So you're actually recouping energy. I drove one of those Zero motorcycles. It's an electric motorcycle they made in California. And that thing could go over 150 miles in the city because you're slowing down, it's recharging, taking off. On a highway, if you were going 60 miles an hour, you were lucky if you got 50 miles out of the thing before it ran out of power. Because on a highway, all it's doing is running power. But in the city, it runs, reuses it, runs, reuses it, and that's why they're rated better in the city than on a highway. Of course, an electric car, pure electric car, if you're just driving down the road, it isn't going to make all that much difference because you're using electricity, and if it's going at one speed, they're pretty efficient going just one speed. So there isn't that much difference. But the hybrids, there's a big difference between city and highway driving because they're a combo of electric and gasoline and regeneration. I am Mark 2988, says Scotty. I need paint help. I have to paint a fender, hood, and bumper for someone being careless on the road. Any suggestions? Okay, well, here's the problem. It's a modern car. The problem is, to paint the bumper, that's plastic. You need a special paint to paint that, separate from painting the metal parts. And realize that if you do paint the front of the car, when you look at the car from the side, it's not going to match. It's impossible to match painted modern cars. You're going to see that the front that you painted, the right front fender, is going to look different than the door in the back of the car. If you really wanted to get it painted, my advice is go to one of those cheap paint joints like Earl Scheib or whatever. And now it is winter time here, so they always have winter sales. So they said, we'll paint any car for $250. Just pay them to paint it. If you want to do it right, it's very expensive. You got to know how to mix the paint, have special paint for the bumper, different paint for the body. I don't advise people trying to do it themselves. That big of an area, it is not easy to paint a car. Plus, you're breaking all kinds of law. If you're painting a car in a driveway, you're polluting the air with the spray paint, and all the body shops, they have sealed units with filters and paint booths. Plus, if you paint a car outside, all the dust is going to get on it. They have a sealed atmosphere when they're in a paint booth. You paint it out in the open, leaves, dirt's going to get on it, birds are going to poop on it. Not a smart idea to try to paint a car if you're trying to try to paint it outside. Unless it's just a little tiny piece. Sharona Man says, got an 05 Ford F-150 V8. My door locks won't work from any way I try. The key cylinder, the door switches, and the key fob, but they will not unlock by themselves anymore. The only thing that works is I stick the key in the door, in the driver's door, and turn it. All right. Obviously, your electric door system is broken. What generally happens is you open the driver's door a lot. Open, close, open, close. Well, guess what? All the wires that come from the switch to go to lock all the doors and unlock them, they go right through the inside of the door, through the door, where you open it in the front gap there. You'll see there's a bunch of wires. And then it goes back into the frame of the car. You open and close it a lot. They get frayed. Cut the tape. It's covered with tape and stuff. And look inside and you'll probably find the wires there have frayed and have broken. And so you got no power going to the system anymore. I see that so many times. Any short, of course, is going to do it. I see those fray the most because, hey, it's a pickup truck. It's your pickup truck. Probably don't carry a billion people with it, so the door you open and close all the time is the driver's door. So those are the wires that wear out first. Well, here's proof that GM is indeed living in the past and making maybe not such wise decisions. They just said that in 2021, they're going to put a diesel engine Cadillac back on the market. It's going to be an Escalade with the 3.0 liter Duramax diesel and the 10-speed automatic transmission. Now, the 10-speed automatic transmission, that's a decent transmission. That's the one they made in conjunction with Ford and Chevy, but then the whole thing fell apart after a while, but it did end up being a good transmission. That's the one thing that came out of it was this 10-speed transmission for rear-wheel drive vehicles. If you remember, the only time that you could get a diesel Cadillac when they had those horrendous 350 V8 conversion diesels. Now, to me, this makes no sense. The world seems to be going away from diesel engines. Why would you put diesel engine in your luxury brand? I don't know what's going on in these guys' heads, but let's face it. I mean, the idea of Cadillac is supposed to be luxury and speed, and now putting a diesel engine in one of these things, to me, it just doesn't make sense. But then again, a lot of the stuff that GM's done the last 2 decades makes no sense to me as a mechanic. Either it was something they shouldn't have done or something that they did but built it incorrectly. They are offering them, though, 2021, you'll be able to get diesel Cadillac. And realizing how the Americans go, the 2020s are already out. They always come out early. And sometimes the 2021 models you can buy in June of 2020. So at some point in time, you'll be able to get a Cadillac with a diesel engine if that floats your boat. I think it's a bad move myself. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.